The sharp echo of boots on marble shattered the silence of Buckingham's west corridor. "Your Majesty, I'm under orders. I have to open the wardrobe." The guard's voice was steady, but his heart thundered beneath the red wool of his uniform. Across from him, Queen Camilla sat frozen. A brush of powder halted midair. Her green silk gown shimmered under the golden light, and the massive emerald crown weighed like gilt on her brow. "Sergeant Hale," she said, her tone sharp as cut glass. "You are mistaken. That wardrobe is sealed by my authority." But Thomas Hale didn't flinch. He was a soldier, not a courtier. "The order came from the king himself, Your Majesty. Every personal possession of the late queen must be inspected." Her hand trembled. "You have no idea what's in there," she whispered. And with a metallic click, the key turned. The wardrobe loomed like a tomb, tall, carved from ancient oak, crowned with the royal crest. Its brass hinges groaned as Thomas pulled the doors apart. A scent of lavender and dust escaped, swirling through the room like the ghost of the past. Inside hung a single robe, crimson, heavy, gold-threaded, the late queen's coronation robe. Thomas's breath caught. He had seen it once, years ago, when he was a young guard standing in formation as the queen passed. It was more than fabric. It was history woven in silk. He looked back at Camilla. Her eyes were glassy, locked on the robe as if it were alive. "Why was this hidden?" he asked. Camilla stood, her crown catching the light like fire. "Because it was never meant to be worn again," she said softly. "Because every time I see it, I'm reminded that no matter what crown I wear, I'll never be her." The air grew heavy. The faint ticking of the palace clock was the only sound. Camilla walked toward the wardrobe, each step echoing with restrained fury. "Do you know what it's like to live in someone's shadow, Sergeant?" she said. "To be compared, measured, doubted, every single day?" Thomas kept silent. He wasn't trained for royal confessions. "I thought if I locked it away," she continued, "if I buried her robe, I could finally breathe as myself. But even behind closed doors, she's still here. In every whisper, every headline, every look." Her voice cracked, barely, but enough for Thomas to hear the woman behind the crown. He stepped forward. "Your Majesty," he said carefully, "the robe isn't your enemy." Camilla turned sharply. "Then what is?" He hesitated, then met her gaze. "The fear that you'll never measure up. But you're not meant to. You're meant to continue, not compete." Her lip trembled. "You speak boldly for a guard." "Because I stood watch for her," he said quietly. "And now I stand for you. The robe doesn't belong to one woman. It belongs to the legacy you both built." Camilla's breath hitched. She reached out, her fingers brushing the robe's velvet. It felt warm, alive, like it had been waiting for this moment. Then she said something no one expected. "Help me put it on." Thomas blinked. "Your Majesty?" "Do it," she said, her voice steadier now. "If I'm to face her memory, I'll do it wearing what she left behind." He lifted the robe carefully, the gold embroidery catching the light. As he placed it over her shoulders, the fabric seemed to hum with unspoken stories, the laughter of crowds, the solemn hymns of a coronation day long gone. Camilla stood before the mirror. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Her reflection looked regal, yes, but there was something deeper. The lines of sorrow softened. The doubt faded. In that mirror, for the first time, she didn't look like a woman trying to replace the past. She looked like someone ready to carry it. "Do you know," she said quietly, "the night before her coronation, she stood right here. The seamstress told me she wept. Said she was terrified she'd fail her people." Camilla turned to Thomas, her eyes glistening. "Perhaps we all wear crowns of fear. We just hide them better." Thomas nodded slowly. "Courage isn't in pretending you're not afraid, Your Majesty. It's in standing tall anyway." A tear slipped down her cheek, and she didn't bother to wipe it. "Then perhaps it's time I stop hiding." That evening, palace staff found the queen standing at the balcony, wearing the late queen's robe as the sunset washed the sky in gold. Below, the city of London stretched endlessly, a living, breathing testament to time and change. Thomas stood behind her at attention, but she turned and spoke quietly. "Sergeant Hale, tell the museum curator to prepare a display. This robe will no longer gather dust. It will remind the world of where we came from and where we're going." He bowed. "As you wish, Your Majesty." And for the first time since her coronation, Queen Camilla smiled, not as someone stepping into another's shoes, but as someone finally walking her own path. Weeks later, crowds gathered to see the exhibit titled "The Robe of Two Queens." Behind the glass, the crimson robe gleamed under soft light. Beside it, a plaque read, "This robe once symbolized one woman's beginning. Now it stands for another's courage to continue. Visitors wept quietly. Some left flowers. Others simply stood in silence, understanding without words that legacy isn't about who came first. It's about who chooses to carry the flame. That night, Thomas returned to his post. He glanced at the window of the Queen's chamber. A light still glowed inside. He imagined her sitting before the mirror again, not as a ruler weighed by expectation, but as a woman who'd finally made peace with her reflection. He whispered to himself, "Sometimes, the bravest thing a queen can do is unlock what she once feared to face." We all have something locked away, memories, regrets, shadows of who we once were. But when we dare to open that door, we don't lose ourselves. We find strength we never knew we had. If this story moved you, subscribe and comment your country below. Because sometimes, the quietest moments reveal the loudest truths.